Yeah, man, we heard new wave of sports that is sweeping the nation where we're not just accurate, but we are spot on. It's spot on sports. I heard with Boss Cowboy
What's
right
up
now,
with
man. The Cowboy expert. Law Nation came by yesterday to sit down with me. I defer to y'all guys.
Thank you.
Sensible people.
Appreciate
that
it.
know the boys and know what they need to be talking about.
Yeah, man.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm enjoying SportsCon greatly, man. I'm pretty sure it's fruitful for you like it's fruitful for me. The main thing I love about it is that I'm making great connections.
Definitely.
Like it's even people that I've been seeing and not seeing, and then we link up and then we do more. So it's just a great opportunity. But when it comes down to the Cowboys, you know, I'm excited for what they're getting ready to do with.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get into it, man. Obviously, a lot of off-season changes have happened. Me and Law, we talked a lot about it yesterday. The Cowboys, they did a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I think they did the right type of work this time.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore is out. Mike is in as the play caller this time. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Mike is calling plays for the first time since 2017, 2018. How you feeling about him and what that is going to do for Dak Prescott?
I love it because I think his transition was fantastic. So a lot of people have concerns about it, and I think the concerns are legit. Like the main concern that you hear, and maybe a lot of people say is he outdated? Has his system been figured out? So it's almost like me and you, we out of college or went to school or whatever, but then when you get away from those new techniques. Mike McCarthy was able to work with Kellen Moore, so he's now going to be able to merge the old with the new, which I think is going to be a good mix. And that's why they call it the Texas Coast. They're giving us a clue, in my opinion, that it's going to have some twist to the West Coast and not as traditional West Coast, which is going to give an element of surprise, which makes me a believer. Because he's also a play caller that has what we call skins on the wall, or Steven calls skins on the wall. That makes a big difference. That's also why I think Kellen Moore is out, because there were certain situations to where you needed that season to know how to close out games. Jaguars was one, Green Bay was one. Both of those games was pivotal being the number one seed. And that's another one because he failed in that one too. Now, a lot of people don't really see blaming Kellen Moore because we all look crazy when we used to talk about Kellen Moore because it was almost like, how are you going against the number one offense? It really wasn't the offense. It was more so the offense in big moments.
Yeah.
So in the big moments, it failed, and you had to micro into it to see it. And we did that as independent content.
And tell us what y'all saw, because again, before when the closer when they get inside the 30, it's like the whole game plan changes.
Yeah.
And we know Kellen Moore is one to stick to his guns. And hey, if I got this drawing up and if I'm calling this play, I'm running the play. One thing I see, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think y'all talked to T. Will the other day.
Yeah, we did.
And he said some things, lamented some things about Tony Romo and how he would change the play if he knew something wasn't going to work.
Right.
What did you guys see as far as that play call changing the closer we got into the end zone?
Yeah, it was, a lot of people saw my excitement on that part, and I was extremely excited because it was confirmation of what I was actually thinking. But when you hear it from T. Will and a guy who played with both, that was the value of that, is the fact that he played with both. Mm-hmm. So you can get that insight, and the key insight to me was the fact that Tony Romo, through time, had the moxie to change on the fly. And that was the key point that some people might have been missing. Dak couldn't have did that as a rookie. They would have snatched him, right? But we still saying, in my opinion, Dak is sometimes too trusting of bad plays.
Yeah.
He's the guy that trusts the process too much. It's like sometimes I want you to take command of it, trust you sometime. And it's a hard balance because that's also saying to reject the play. But you know your guys. You spent the most time intimately, and this is where we're, as podcasters, being greedy to take the next level and pushing that. So to hear T. Will confirm that was big. The good news is also this, though. This is very good news. The good news is the fact that I believe that Mike McCarthy is empowering Dak. Because when he said something in the offseason that was a clue to empowerment, Dak was asking a question which is generally typical of Dak, to where he said, what do you think we should do here? Mike McCarthy, with a teaching style, turned to him and said, what do you think we should do? See, that's teaching them. That's teaching them you own this right now. I'm giving you this. These are your actual keys. I'm not giving you pseudo keys. You have the keys to the offense. Make some decisions out there. And see, Dak is smart.
Yeah.
Dak has a master's degree in organizational leadership before he was drafted. So when you giving that smart guy the keys who's going to control the offense, I think it's going to give us a better layer of the offense.
And speaking of that, boss, is it a chance, and I know we're few and far away from that for Dak now at this point, is it a chance we can get some Mississippi State Dak? this time. The Dak that really used his legs a lot more. And I know how we feel about quarterback scrambling. He's a big guy. We've obviously seen what happened when he tried some things, and he had the injury and everything.
Yeah.
But should we get a little more of that? Dak really being that big body guy, really kind of bruising the defense a little bit, and then still being able to beat him with his arm.
It's effective, and I can see where we definitely want to use that. I think we should kind of pick and choose when we use that because of the risk factor.
Yeah.
So, because like for instance, Jalen Hurts, he had just as many touches as Tony Pollard. It also led to a great season, but it also led to him getting hurt.
Yeah.
He got hit, and he got hit a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at Dak as a $40 million investment, I want Dak for the long term. I think we fortunate, though, with Dak, because Dak is one of those few quarterbacks that can hit a switch. It's very hard for quarterbacks to go from running to throwing. Dak is actually that guy that can do it. Like, you could tell him this game, use your legs, and then he'll look like rookie Dak. Or you can say, hey, man, stand back there and be Peyton Manning and just sling it. We want you to kind of take it off this game and just use your arm. Be safe. We're trying to go into the playoffs. He's that good to where he can beat you with his arm.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I do want to see it, but I want to see it when it counts. I want to see them kind of tailor it to we in the post. Then let's get all of that. Get every Dak you can handle, and we're going to take the chances with that because this is our time.
Well, boss, I got a couple more questions for you. I'll let you go. Let's start with this defense, man.
You say that again?
Let's start with this defense.
Let's go.
Where are we? What are we doing? Michael Parsons in year 3. He's obviously a leader of men at this point.
Yeah.
We hear him taking command when he needs to. We added, and I'm calling him Gilligan's Island, and you know who I'm referring to. How do you feel about this defense? Where can we go? Did we progress? Did we get better?
Exponentially. To a great defense already. Like, we was already top 2 defense.
That was, man.
We clearly number 1 defense.
Boss, I've never been more excited to see my defense on the field.
I've never been more excited.
Never felt like that
except since the 90s. Look at what they added. It was not just Hankins, who was we got him
stepped in and played very well.
Yeah, and which is still kind of where he came in. He's going to be better because he was a mid-season acquisition right before the trade deadline and after Philly.
Yes.
So that's key because we was clearly saying we couldn't stop the QB sneak and we needed a one tech. It was the first time we finally said, okay, let's keep playing. Let's go get us a big guy. We got him. But now he's starting in training camp and he's going to start the season with us, so that's a big step up. Then Mozzie Smith, big step up. Then not only Michael Parsons going in year 3, which is a super big point that you said, not to be slept on because that's epic, because now he's going after the money, and that incentive alone going to make him go crazy. But Sam Williams going in 2.
It's a year 2.
Then also what we just did at the cornerback 2 position with Stephon, which is going to help pass rush. Then we paid Donovan Wilson, which I didn't think we was going to do. I didn't think we was going to keep it.
I'm glad we kept Dono.
Me too.
I'm glad we kept him.
So now we got another one of the safety leaders back there. We got epic depth across the board. The defense is going to be the most exciting part of the Dallas Cowboys, which is rare because our offense carried us for the last 15, 16 years. And for us to be a defense team, it's amazing and good to see. I'm excited about it, especially because I played defense in college and played defense my whole life. I have a defensive mentality. So to see the Dallas Cowboys with a new identity of defense is exciting. And we got a play caller now that's going to be complementary to that defense. We have a play caller that understands that every now and then punting is not bad, or running the ball to protect the lead is not bad, or resting your D by running the ball. We have that guy in our play caller now, and it's going to make our defense elite. Let me ask you a question. When was our defense absolutely number 1 in points?
Yeah.
I can tell you, the first quarter. If you look up the Dallas Cowboys defense in the first quarter, they gave up the least amount of points out of all teams. What's the common denominator to that? Rest. So when you rest them and they coming out fresh, see, that's also why we was 5-1 under Cooper Rush. That play style was keeping it, and that's why
we didn't have to be, enigmatic. We didn't have to be flashy.
We didn't have to be flashy. It was boring but good. So I like boring wins. I just like to win. So when I look at our play caller mixed with Dak, mixed with the upgrade of our D,
So, boss, here's our last one now. I'm gonna build the scenario for you. What we're facing. Balance of power is shifting in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers is gone. The NFC South looks different. We're trying to see what's happening there. Tom Brady is retired for now. Philly is I don't know, everybody blinked and all of a sudden they think they're the best thing in sliced bread. So,
Stop.
which is crazy. They got to the Super Bowl.
You got to the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
we're not going to take that away from them. They got to the Super Bowl.
You did.
But where do the Cowboys fall into everything that's happening now? And we all know the Cowboys haven't won since when and who, what, and where, and why. That's all well and fine.
Yeah.
But where do we fall now, and how do we get to at least, let's take the next step and just say NFC Championship.
Let me just say how it is. The Dallas Cowboys should be, the last 2 years, we should have won at least one of these Super Bowls. Like, that 2021 team was great.
Yeah.
That 2022 team was good. This team is better than both of those teams. So, talent is not our problem. It was more so using that talent, in my opinion. And I think we get a lot of times in the offseason, we get a little goofy. We start betting on, like, receiver tools over Amari Cooper and stuff like that. But, like, where we stand in the balance of power right now, I'm not saying this as a home. I'm just looking at this just on paper and just on facts. Any other team that was 12-5 twice with obvious dysfunction on offense should be taken as a top 2 threat. Not even in the NFC.
Yeah.
Out of all of football, it should be really us in Kansas City on paper. But Dallas publicly doesn't get the respect because it's been so long.
Yeah.
So people almost kind of get that Stephen A., you know, whatever can happen is going to happen type of mentality. Even we've taken it on a little bit.
Yeah, we
But
have.
I think we got to divorce that and kind of look at the reality of the talent that we had, mix it all together. And if you're looking at it, not with homer eyes, not with optimistic eyes, not with hate eyes, but looking at it from just a realistic football perspective, any team that was 12-5 twice and brought back everybody should be favored.
That's huge.
And built on top of that. You know, so like for instance, losing Amari Cooper, we had questions about receivers.
And let me go ahead and say one other question.
Yeah.
Was it a bad trade? Now, not the 5th round.
It was
pick
a horrible trade.
But letting him go.
It was a horrible trade. It was a horrible trade from the beginning, and it's the problem with our front office. And one of the things about our front office that's frustrating, and I'm just being honest, I said this all the time on my channel, is that they treat their free agents like bastard sons, and they treat their draftees like kids, like their sons.
The silver spoon.
Yeah, the silver spoon. So Amari was an outsider and was treated that way to the point to where even Stephen Jones said himself, we could not have paid Michael Gallup if we would have kept Amari Cooper. Well, you should have got rid of Gallup. Let's just be honest. And it's not no shot at Gallup in his play, but Cooper was healthy.
Yeah,
and now $20 million is not what it used to be. $20 million was considered a lot of money for a receiver one. $20 million right now is a super steal for a receiver one, and you already had him locked up for 2 more years. It was a bad decision. They know it was a bad decision because then they started immediately trying to go after other receivers to the point they got T.Y. Hilton after begging for a broke leg Odell Beckham. So it's like you made the trash that you had to go later clean up. So you can't be mad at us for calling it bad because you showing through your decision making and what you was doing during the season that y'all figured out it was bad.
And boss, we courted this man Odell and he wasn't even ready.
Yeah.
Like how do you court this man? You bring him to the Mavs game. You do all these things for we go make sure that you're comfortable and stuff, and then he's not ready to play.
Yeah, and that's the other side that can be frustrating as a Dallas Cowboy fan is the fact that we always have to mix in PR with football.
Yeah.
So it's like our guys don't have the privilege of just focusing on football. It's always going to be a mix of what I call the Kardashian model.
A little bit Hollywood.
Very Hollywood, to where they open up the cameras and they open up their personal lives for the money, but then that takes away from the purity of your team.
Last question, boss.
Yeah.
Where are we finishing this year?
Okay.
Where do we finish? Where do the Cowboys end up? What do you see at the end of the 2023 season? Cowboys are here. Just get me honest. I know we have to wait to see his 17th.
No. I'm not that type. I say what I think. When I thought we was getting ready to get one of those powerful left guards in the draft, I was basically guaranteeing we was going to win the Super Bowl. I was saying it loud and proud because I was looking at how we was building. I'm not as confident now because I'm not sure about what they're doing at left guard. I'm not sure. And I felt like they had a great opportunity to shore up the offensive line and to make it dominant a lot of different ways. I'm not saying it's not going to be.
And it can't be there.
But I'm not going to act like I'm certain right now because I got to see that play out. It's still not 100%. I don't even think that he's going to play into game 4. To me, that tells me that they're going to have to actually put it on Dak's arm, even though they've been saying the whole time that they're going to have a run identity. Then you look at the fact that we kind of unsure about the power back situation.
Yeah, is it Rojo is supposedly the guy that can kind of feel that role?
So I'm actually, in my opinion, thinking that the first part of the season is going to be bumpy. I think the first part is going to be bumpy. I think it's going to build character in us. It's going to make us have to lean on Dak, but I think it's going to be a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster for fans and the Cowboys. But I think it's going to smooth out as the season goes on, and we start getting our guys back like Steele, and then we should know what we're going to do at left guard. I also believe by training camp we will also know what we're going to do with that power back situation. And I think that might be that last acquisition we make going into the season. But to answer your question, I really do believe that the Dallas Cowboys should go at least one step further than what they were. They should get to the division around this time because I believe in a play caller this time, and I think it's going to really help that defense.
And boss, I'll say this, and then I'll check this on out. I trust Mike.
Yeah.
I trust my coaching staff as a whole, and I go back to, I want to say it was a couple years ago against the LA Chargers, where we went out there and we were without both of our starting 2 defensive ends and Tyron Smith, if I'm correct. And I said, you know what? If this was Jason Garrett, we lose this game. I had never, because when Cowboys lose a starter, it's like, this drop off is so fast, and it's like, how is it this deep? But we went out there and we stuck 2 backup guys in. You stuck your backup left tackle in, and you won the game, and still played very well. I think I trust this my coach staff enough to figure out something for the first 4 games.
Yeah.
Whatever works. I'm not a big fan of whatever this idea is of moving Steele to guard. I think he needs to stay at tackle. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think Tyron is a swing. Am I wrong for saying this? I know he's still a starter, and when he plays, he's one of the best still. But given his injury,
I mean, you have to look at him like a swing. You have to. You're right. His injury history makes you have to look at him as a swing, and then on top of that, the guys that's in front of him are the future tackles. So you can't take away from Steele. You can't take away from Tyler. Anything in the meantime is just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So I think the way that they structure Tyron Smith's contract is going to be a situation where he's incentivized based on playing. So I think they are already anticipating Steele is not going to be ready. They're hoping, in my opinion, that he's going to be able to carry them at least 4 games.
Yeah.
And to Steele gets off and I think he can. But I think it's kind of understood that the tackles of the future are here.
Yeah.
And anything outside of that is going to be temporary. So even if they did something like took Tyler Smith and moved him to left guard and put Tyron Smith at left tackle just to kind of just get through kind of tough periods, that's also going to be very temporary, or that's not going to happen again after the season. Tyler Smith is likely going to be the tackle of the future, and Steele is absolutely your right tackle of the future. Absolutely. And one of the most underrated players in NFL.
Boss Cowboy Sports. Look, this man, these men up over there, that 10 is that way, but they need no introduction. But boss, tell them where they can find you, man.
Yeah, Boss Cowboy Sports, man, and I always say your voice matter. The whole vision of Boss Cowboy Sports is us being a movement to where we come together and we take ideas and we really use the community for good ideas, as well as pushing these good ideas, because we really believe that good ideas get in the building if you organize. And we've been seeing that on our channel to where, because of the efforts we've been doing and working together, collabing with a lot of the best guys like yourself and like Loud Nation and like West Coast and like Big Game James and all those guys, we have more reach. So when we raise concerns now, people really listen because they know we are football people and they know that we really say what we mean. So that's the whole vision of Boss Cowboy Sports. And so if you like what you hear, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. We're going to continue to give you content like this and, take this content as new media guys to the next level, man. So hope y'all enjoy Boss Cowboy.
Cowboy fans, listen. It's very imperative that you listen to the right people. Boss Cowboy, Law Nation, Botch, Foots the King. These are the guys that's actually looking in depth to what the Cowboys are doing. They're telling you the right information. The big media is fine.
Yeah.
But they gotta get viewerships and clicks. This is clicks and views for the right reason.
Yeah.
So be sure to follow these guys, subscribe, check them out. They're doing a lot of great things, boss. I appreciate you stopping
Thank you,
by
man.
the table, man.
I enjoyed
Thank
it, man.
you so
Let's
much,
do this
man.
some more.
No, man, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Spot on Sports, Tony Monk, Boss Cowboys. We'll see y'all in a bit.
Let's get it.